And that final take has primarily been animated by Toru Iwazawa, someone people may know from his various work on the different Fate series. What's nice about his inclusion here is that the Gallet Gun versus the Kamehameha moment was not in Yashima's original storyboard, but after communicating just how much he wanted to animate that, he was allowed to add that sequence to the episode. I'm telling you, this really is a celebratory episode made by fans. And it's not just the action where this episode excels either. Although we've yet to receive too much information on who was behind some of these scenes, there is a great deal of fantastic character animation found throughout this episode. All that crazy exposition with Gomar and Degasu and Arinsu, it almost never stops moving. It just does such a wonderful job of informing the audience of the characters' personalities beyond just the dialogue delivery. They are bouncing off the screen in the best kind of way. And I think what stood out to me is just how well a lot of this is framed. Like I mentioned, Yashima is the storyboard artist for this episode, and while his boards on Super were okay, it's great to see how far he's developed over the years, especially at his big age of 70. The blocking here is really competent. It's not necessarily relying on the wacky angles we see from more modern directors, but the layering of characters feels really carefully considered and nicely composed. Is it lighting the world on fire? No, but it's decent work, and I think that being the baseline in the series with a lot of interesting boards to come is absolutely fine. This is a nice foundation for an episode that barely scratched the surface of what this series has to offer. I've barely touched on the Katsuru's design work, I've made no mention of the art director or assistant animation directors like Dragon Ball Super's Miyako Tsuji. The thing is, their presence will be significantly more prominent in future episodes, so I'm going to save a deep dive until then. Back in 2018 though, I said the following during a Broly review. Part of me kind of considered this kind of thing to be a bit of a dream, and I hope in a couple of years I can look back on this and go, wow, you were impressed by that? Look at where we are now. It's funny to look back on that, because of course Broly remains the pinnacle of Dragon Ball animation.